This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at United.com.
This episode is brought to you by Merrill. Join one of the most iconic names in wealth management, Merrill. You'll be part of a dynamic team of advisors and specialists working hard every day to grow their clients' wealth. And with the support of best-in-class research, advanced digital tools, and the resources of a global institution, it's truly an opportunity you can be bullish about. Learn more at careers.bankofamerica.com. Copyright 2024, Bank of America Corporation.
Got a really interesting topic in store today, talking about how to fit trading around your life, and specifically telling my story about how I started or was able to sneak my trading around working pretty much like 15 hours or so a day. I also have a conundrum that I need your help with. I can't figure out the solution, and hopefully you can lend me some advice. So yeah, let's hop in. That's a bit on prop firms. There's one question I missed by Cherry. When you first started working on being successful, profitable trader, did you work 9 to 5 as well? Oh, here you go. So when you first started working on being a successful, profitable trader, did you work 9 to 5 as well? What session did you have to trade when working full time? So yes and no. So yes, when I first started trading, I was actually working 3 jobs. So I was working more than 9 to 5. Take that. I was working 8 to 3 in the school system with children with mental and behavioral health issues. So children that had autism and stuff like that. I was doing that from 8 to 3. From 3:30 to 5:30, I was coaching track and field, unpaid. Well, it was there was a time where it was a graduate assistantship. So I had a stipend of something, but then that ended, and I was still coaching. It was unpaid. I would go to grad school from 6 to 9, twice a week, taking grad classes, and then from about 10 o'clock to maybe midnight, twice a week. I was cleaning, I was working as a janitor. I was cleaning, or assistant janitor, cleaning banks and toilets. I was actually during the dark periods, the dark ages of my trading, I was actually considering just being a full-time janitor. The guy I worked with, I'm a good worker. I'm a good employee. So me and my buddies, we did a really good job, and he got to the point where he was expanding our business. We had worked with this guy since college, just to make some side bucks on the side. And he got to the point where we knew what to do so well. He was like, hey, I don't have to be there to cover you guys, right? I can double my reach. Instead of doing a bank on first and then heading to a daycare next day, you can do the daycare, I can do the bank, and then we can add 2 more spots and do 2 spots a night. I was like, whatever like that. And I was considering doing that, helping him grow. I had a good business mind, and he didn't. He was good at what he did, but not great at developing businesses. We're actually going to grow that business and hire employees and just build it out to be a very good janitorial service. With that being said, I wasn't a fan of the late night hours. I told you guys earlier, I'm not a night owl. 8 o'clock, I get the sleepy eyes, the heavy face. I'm also not a fan of cleaning toilets full of poop and throw up. Yeah. Now, I'm numb to that now after having 2 kids. But at the time, that wasn't the bright spot of my day. So it was a job that it was a job. I didn't like it. And this was around the same time where I was like, I want to be happy with my life and do something that makes me happy and blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad I didn't take that route. So I was learning to trade while doing all that, Cherry. And I was a swing trader. I told you guys, I was a swing trader the whole time. I was a swing trader. And swing trading offered me that flexibility because I would check the charts at 5 before I left to work. I would, sneak a little chart checking in the middle of the day, right? Again, working with working with these kids, we had timed breaks. So there was like a timed break where like every, whatever, I would take them on a walk just to calm them down, like, break up the monotony. So, I happen to time my walks around 9 o'clock, and, we take him outside, let him kind of breathe some fresh air, and I, check a little chart. Well, not check a chart, but check a price. I didn't have charts on my phone, or they weren't really great, but I would check a price quote. I would do that. And I would do the same thing around 1 o'clock. And then I would do the same thing after work. I didn't check at 5 o'clock, but I would always check between track practice and on days that they were days that they weren't grad school, I'd be home to check, but days that they were grad school, I'd check before class. So with being able to check once every 4 hours, I was actually able to just work it into my schedule because I was able to sneak away and look at it. And again, I did my prep in the morning, so I knew what I was looking for throughout the day. I had like little handwritten notes in my little book, and I knew exactly what I was looking for, what price needed to do for me to enter. I was really prepared. All I had to do was kind of keep track of things and make sure things didn't go crazy. Now, days like non-farms, those are wacky days. Because back then I was trading through that type of stuff. Those were wacky days because my whole analysis would be thrown out of whack, and I had to like try to do full new analysis, which didn't really work, and I would end up just like randomly buying stuff because I was scared. But yeah, it was actually pretty manageable despite working an 8 to 12 pretty much. Now, with that being said, it got to a point where I felt overwhelmed. I wasn't good at trading. I was trading. I just wasn't good at it, right? I was still a trader. Just wasn't really good at it. And there came a time where I told myself, Akil, if you're serious about this, you have to focus on it, right? You have to focus. The same thing I tell my kids, the same thing I was told when I was young. Like, if you want to be good at it, it's okay to play sports, right? You can play sports, you can be happy, you can have fun. You can meet friends, all that good stuff. But I don't know how many of you guys have been athletes or follow sports, religiously like me. Some would say obsessed. But there's a massive difference between playing sports and wanting to be good at sports. Does that make sense? Like, if you want to be good, if you want to give yourself a chance to play at college, go pro, it's a different game. You can't just show up to practice, right? My kid practices twice a week for an hour and a half, right? That's not enough. And every coach I noticed as a coach, every coach you speak to will tell you this, right? The real practice is done away from practice. So I ask my kids all the time, and as long as they're okay, I'm like, do you want to do what it takes to be great? And they're like, well, yeah, I do. I want to be really, really good. I'm like, okay, well, you don't have organized practice today, but we're going to head to the field for an hour and kick it around. And I know the balance between I'm being a coach myself helps that I don't like overwhelm them. I see some parents that are like crazy where it's like, we're out there for 4 hours kicking the ball and their kid hates life. So I understand how to work drills and keep it fun. But the fact is, and my kids have become pretty good. And a lot of parents ask, say, we're getting touches in. We're getting touches in every day or almost every day because they're focusing on a different level. So that same mindset came to me in trading, where I was like, I talked to myself in the mirror. I'm like, I wasn't consistent. I'm like, do you want to be good at this, Akil? And I'm like, yes, I want to be good because this was the whole time where I said I was getting tired of like the 3 jobs. I was making good money, 30,000, but like 30,000 as a swinging bachelor back in like 2008, 7, whatever it was. That wasn't going to fly with 2 kids. They each had a house and home because the 4-year-old or the 6-year-old, I should say, just turned 6 over the weekend. He can eat an entire large pizza by himself. He ate 4 hot dogs in one sitting. It's ridiculous. Gosh, it's horrible. Horrible. I don't even get a slice. I had to lie once, guys. I had to take a slice, hide it, and say, oh, man, I guess the pizza place missed one. I had to lie. Yeah. The good news is I'm losing weight. I'm losing weight because I'm eating less by the pure fact that I can't get to it first. The other day I told you I went to get a pizza. I put the pizza in. I went to the office to check some emails, let it cool down a little bit. I came back, the pizza was gone. I had some spring rolls and some broccoli. I'm eating a lot healthier now because the kids won't eat the healthy stuff. That's all that's left for me. You know what? That's a new diet program. Have kids. You want to lose weight, you want to eat healthier, have kids, because they eat everything and you don't have anything left but the healthy stuff. That's all I eat now. I'm down 5 pounds. I'm feeling good. I like it. My diet consists of broccoli, sweet potatoes, and spring rolls. But now they've got a taste for sweet potatoes. I sugared them up one day for them, and now they like it. So now the sweet potatoes are gone. The hell do I have left? Chewing on celery. Yeah, but anyway, so it works. But anyway, I decided to get serious, and that's when I quit those jobs. I quit those jobs because I saw them as a distraction. This was a stupid idea, but they were a distraction. Because again, I was trying to part-time trade in between full-time hours. And I just wasn't taking trading seriously because I had a safety net. I was like, who cares if I get successful? I'm still getting whatever paycheck a month or every 2 weeks. So like, who cares? And just me knowing me, like, again, I am back against the wall. I'm a procrastinator, right? I do really good work when I need to do it. But if I'm not forced to do it, I won't do good work. So I was that kid in college where it's like, I'd know about a report like a month in advance, but I wouldn't get started until like 2 days before. And I would put in some great work because there was so much urgency, like, oh crap. We call it the oh crap experience to keep it clean, but OSC, the experience, right? Where it's like, you got to do it and you got to do it now. And I would get really, really good work done in my urgency. So I figured the same thing would work with trading, and it did. I quit 3 jobs, stupid. But I was prepared for it. I put money aside and blah, 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 like that. I didn't just like randomly wake up and decide to quit. I planned it out. And it allowed me to focus on trading, because here's the thing, Cherry, I was trading, but I wasn't learning how to trade. This was all before I got educated, before I had a coach. This was just me like internet surfing and trying to figure it out. So once I quit the 3 jobs, all this time opened up. I found a mentor, a coach, and I had time to fully invest. And I was focused like 12 hours a day on learning the craft. So it freed up that time to learn, which in turn helped my trading. But that's a very long story about how I manage trading around a regular 9 to 5. It pretty much comes down to this. You have 2 options. Trade a high enough time frame that allows you to check every once in a while on a chart. And hopefully you can work that around your schedule, whether it's breaks, lunch, bathroom break. Can't tell you how many traders are trading in the stall. Real story. Got an email from some guy, said, Akil, I'm on the toilet right now. So you didn't need to tell me that, man. I could have answered your question all the same without me knowing that. But he was on the toilet checking charts, right? Started lying to his boss, like, oh man, that Thai food really gets to me. Started buying Thai food just to go with the story. Or trade a low time frame that allows you to trade beforehand. So if I were day trading with the schedule I had, I left about 7:30. I would do something maybe like a 5 to 7. I would clear out 2 hours of day trading a day, 5 to 7 in the morning. Or if I was a night person, I'd do it at night, although the night sessions suck. But yeah, you carve out a few hours during the day. Because with day trading, if you know, the frequency is so high that you can probably get 1 or 2 trades a day within like a 2-hour period, depending on your portfolio size. So those would be the 2 options that you can take. Or are they at the stage where they don't eat any greens? My oldest does. Yeah, he does. He doesn't eat a lot. My youngest, we're getting there. He refused for a while, and he's inherited the stubbornness of me and my wife. So we used to, like, the oldest was easy because it's like, hey man, you want dessert, you got to eat these broccolis. And he'd be like, okay, and eat them. We tried it with the youngest one. Like my grandpa came up one, or my dad came up. Their grandpa came up once with, like, you know, they all sugary. He has this sugary cake, right? It's like all icing and a little bit of cake. So we're eating blah blah blah, and we're like, hey, you know, you got to finish your food before you get this cake. And so I'm like, my youngest, I'm like, hey, you know, make sure you eat this carrot. He's like, no. I'm like, well, look, you know, come on, just eat it. It's healthy for you. Grow big and strong. No. I'm like, okay. Now, you go to threats after that. I'm like, okay, like, if you don't eat the carrot, you don't get dessert. He's like, okay. And I'm like, bluff. I'm calling his bluff. He says, okay now, but he'll see everyone else, me, my dad, my wife, the oldest kid. He'll see us all eating this sugary cake, and then he'll give in. Man, this guy sat there for like the whole time, didn't blink. He said, I'm cool. I don't need the cake. Went on and started doing his thing. Like, we're all eating the cake in front of him. Like, I accidentally, got some of the icing on his cheek. Oh, oops. Like, brushed it against his mouth. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there, to give him like a little taste of encouragement. Didn't care. He wasn't eating that carrot for nothing. Stubborn as hell. So he was a little bit harder. We're getting him there now with broccoli, but he did not like the threat. Whatever parenting threats you had did not work. You don't leave this table until you finish that carrot. He would just sit there at the table. He has a great imagination. He had imaginary friends. He made up his own game. He's sitting there playing by himself for like 3 hours at the table. Went to my wife, like, I don't know what to do. Stubborn as hell. I do not know what to do. And then on the downside, I don't know if you guys have ever seen pictures of my kids. My 6-year-old, he just turned 6 this weekend. My 6-year-old is the same size as my 9-year-old. Right? He's playing up to 2 years in soccer, and they think he's the oldest kid in the team. He's playing on a team with 7-year-olds. He was 5, and people think he's 8. So the whole threat, like, hey, man, you won't get big and strong if you don't eat your vegetables. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He's like, yeah, all right. I'm already bigger and stronger than Big Brother, and I haven't eaten any vegetables. And now my oldest is now looking at like, well, should I be eating these vegetables? Because my little brother's almost bigger than me, so why am I eating this stuff? And I don't know what to do. We're lost. We're lost, guys. We're lost. This is what happens when you don't backtest. I don't have a solution. I can't tweak the trading plan. I don't know what to do. So, oh well, we're screwed. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Again, disclaimer, do not do what Akil did. Stopping and quitting 3 jobs is not the right idea. It ended up working out for me, but again, I really know myself and I really knew what it took for me to be properly motivated. Knowing yourself is big and you want to put yourself in the best position to succeed, but you also want to be smart about it. So don't go quitting your jobs and saying, because Akil made it, I'll make it too. It doesn't always work. There's a little bit of luck involved in there as well. But I do think you need to take bold steps and really commit if you want to be successful.